Alright guys, welcome back to my page. Today I will be discussing the 19 people that were shot and burned in Mexico. Now they're saying that it didn't happen because of a cartel, how it said in previous reports. It has to do with officers, police officers. So, a dozen police officers have been implicated in the massacre of 19 people along the US-Mexico border at the end of January, underscoring the systematic violence directed at those most vulnerable in areas where organized crime groups operate. Tamaulipas State Attorney General Irving Barrios announced on February 2nd in a press conference that at least 12 state police officers, some of whom belong to an elite special operations group trained and vetted by the United States, listen to that, were arrested for allegedly participating in the massacre in the Camargo area. The revelation pushes back against previous reports, as I stated, that witnesses saw a commando of the Cartel de Nordeste gunmen, which is a Zeta splinter group, murdered the individuals in a local home before abandoning their bodies near the area by the border. Attorney General Barrios did not make clear whether the potential motive or what involvement detained officers had in the gruesome crime, whether it was directly shooting the victims or helping others to do so. The officers are facing criminal charges of homicide, abuse of authority, and falsifying officer reports. Now, mind you, this happened on January 22nd. They found two burnt out vehicles along the Mexico border. They have been shot, killed, before their remains were burned and left behind. And they were able to identify four victims, two Mexicans and two Guatemalan migrants who were traveling through the country en route to the United States. Some families in Guatemala fear there are more migrants among those murdered. Even the governor has chimed in, Francisco Cabeza de Vaca, and he's condemned the attack as well. He said there will not be impunity. However, this state has one of the highest impunity rates in the entire country, according to reports. And this is not even the first time that migrants have encountered extreme violence in the state. In 2010, 72 primarily Central and South American migrants were shot in the head and left at a ranch owned by the Zetas. So this state has a history of extreme violence to innocent people that have nothing to do with the drug war. So it's a big deal. Now, this case has caused major headlines because a lot of news articles in America has picked it up. The Daily News, the Washington Post, and the usnews.com. So there's a lot of major news articles or news channels covering this. So it brought very big attention to Mexico. Now, the fact that these arrested officers were trained by the United States is deeply troubling. And, this is not the first time we hear this. History repeats itself because when the Zetas were big and powerful, the leaders of the Zetas were actually trained in Fort Bragg in America. And let me just name some of the things they were trained in. They were given map reading courses, communications, standard special forces training, light to heavy weapons, machine guns, and automatic weapons. Now, me being a prior service member, I was in the Marines and I was in infantry. And I trained for 3 years straight before I got deployed to Afghanistan and got to use those tactics. These guys are waging war in Mexico, or were waging war in Mexico, and they were trained by our military. So they had the upper hand because they was using our tactics against their enemy. And a lot of times their enemy has no previous training. Their U.S. training was designed to prepare them for counterinsurgency and, ironically, counter-narcotics operations. This shit is laughable because look what they turn around and do. And then they turn around and they train their own group of people to do the same shit. It's ridiculous. America's fucking retarded. Now, with that being said, when we went to Afghanistan, we was in the heat of war and shit, but we was also tasked to train some of the personnel from the Afghan army, which was fucking retarded because later on, these guys were coming to our mess hall, and we didn't have a weapon. We would we would still have our weapons on us, but we wouldn't be loaded, fully cocked, ready to go, while we're taking child break or something. And there was incidents where some of the Afghan army were actually terrorists, and they shot up a few of us in when they were in our bases. Obviously, they died because there's a lot of us with guns as well. But that's not the point. My point is, America needs to stop training these other forces. Like, what the fuck? What? No. It's retarded. They're going to use those tactics against us eventually. That's what happens all the time, if you look throughout history. But getting back to the point, this is a sad situation all around. Me, what do I believe? I believe one of the cartels was involved either way, because if you know anything about coyotes and how people try to get into the United States, all that shit is controlled by one of the factions there. The possibilities are endless about why this had to happen. It could be that they wanted more money. It could be that another group caught another group doing it and they wanted to get paid for it. Who knows? But it's sad all around. And I'm going to leave you guys with this clip. And it shows the Guatemalan parents talking about what happened.
Otro día nos llamó, ya trágicamente ya murieron sus familias de Constancia, lo mataron y los quemaron. Pero hay gente que ha muerto en los Estados Unidos, pero es con la enfermedad, accidente, ya es diferente. Pero en este vez lo mataron y quemaron de una vez. Sí, fue duro para nosotros.
La llamada un día sábado, ya se me fue la fecha, y dijeron que la familia de ustedes se murieron. ¿Y eso por qué? Bueno, hasta el momento no se sabe, pero el bus donde iba se encendió y totalmente se quedó ceniza.